It was a chilly Friday evening in Los Angeles, and Elon Musk, exhausted from back-to-back meetings at SpaceX headquarters, decided to grab a quick bite. He rarely ate fast food, but that night he craved something simple. With his Tesla parked outside, he stepped into a nearby KFC, his mind still occupied with calculations for the next Falcon 9 launch. As he approached the counter, he barely noticed the young man working behind the register. "Welcome to KFC. What can I get for you?" the cashier asked, his voice polite but weary. Elon looked up from his phone, about to order his usual grilled chicken and a side of mashed potatoes, when he froze. The name tag on the employee's shirt read, Ryan Carter. The name rang a bell. Where had he seen it before? Curious, Elon studied the young man closely. He had sharp eyes, a determined expression, and an energy about him that seemed out of place in a fast food restaurant. Elon's mind raced. Wasn't Ryan Carter one of the top aerospace engineers SpaceX had hired last year? Ryan Carter? Elon asked, his eyebrows furrowing. The young man stiffened. His face paled as he realized who was standing in front of him. "Why, yes, sir." Elon leaned in slightly. "Why are you here? Didn't you work for SpaceX?" Ryan swallowed hard. The customers behind Elon murmured, sensing something unusual was happening. The manager, noticing the tension, stepped forward, but Ryan quickly shook his head. "I did, sir, for about a year," Ryan admitted, glancing at the floor. "But I was let go during the budget cuts 6 months ago. Couldn't find another engineering job in time, and, well, bills don't wait." Elon frowned. He vaguely recalled a round of layoffs due to restructuring, but he never imagined someone like Ryan, one of the brightest young engineers in his department, would end up flipping chicken instead of building rockets. "How long have you been working here?" Elon asked, still processing the situation. Ryan sighed. 5 months. I applied everywhere, but without industry connections, it's tough. So I took whatever job I could to survive. Elon crossed his arms, his mind spinning. A SpaceX engineer making minimum wage? It didn't sit right with him. A thought sparked in his head. He could walk away, wish Ryan luck, and move on with his life. Or he could do something about it. Elon Musk never walked away from a challenge. "Take your break," he said, nodding toward the exit. "Let's talk." Ryan hesitated. His manager gave him a warning look. "Sir, we're in the middle of—" "I'll pay for his time," Elon interrupted, pulling out his wallet. "Give him 15 minutes. The restaurant fell silent. The manager gulped and nodded, stepping back. Ryan, still stunned, wiped his hands on his apron and followed Elon outside. As they stood near Elon's Tesla, the billionaire turned to him. "Tell me everything, Ryan. No filters." And with that, Ryan Carter's life was about to change forever. The cool night air brushed against Ryan's face as he leaned against the Tesla's sleek frame. He couldn't believe he was standing outside a KFC, talking to Elon Musk, the man he had once dreamed of impressing. His heart pounded in his chest. Elon crossed his arms, his piercing gaze fixed on Ryan. "Start from the beginning. How did you go from designing rockets to this?" Ryan took a deep breath. "I always wanted to work in aerospace. My dad was a mechanic, and growing up, I'd sit beside him for hours, handing him tools while he fixed cars. But I didn't just want to fix things. I wanted to build things that could touch the sky." Elon nodded, his expression unreadable. "I busted my back to get into MIT," Ryan continued. "I didn't come from money, so I worked 2 jobs while studying. Graduated with honors in aerospace engineering. SpaceX was my dream, and when I landed a job there, it felt like winning the lottery." Ryan's voice softened, and a shadow crossed his face. "But reality wasn't as glamorous as I imagined. I loved the work, every second of it. Designing thermal shields for the Dragon capsule, that was a dream come true. But after a year, the layoffs started." Elon's jaw tightened. He remembered that period well. A tough decision necessary to keep the company afloat during unexpected cost overruns on Starship development. "I got the pink slip along with 200 others," Ryan said, his voice cracking slightly. "I tried applying to other aerospace firms, Blue Origin, Lockheed, Boeing, but everyone was either downsizing or wanted someone with 10 years of experience. I was just a kid with a dream. Why didn't you reach out? Elon asked, a flicker of disappointment in his tone. We have alumni networks, support programs. I did, Ryan interrupted. But when you're just a name on a list, no one listens. My savings dried up in 3 months. Bills piled up, and I was on the verge of losing my apartment. So, I swallowed my pride and took the first job that would pay me, KFC. Elon exhaled slowly. Why not quit and keep applying? Ryan gave a bitter laugh. Because dreaming doesn't pay the rent. I couldn't afford to sit around waiting for an email that might never come. I work 50 hours a week here, and when I get home, I spend my nights applying to jobs. I've sent out over 200 resumes. No one's called back. For the first time in a long while, Elon was speechless. Here was a talented engineer, someone who had once poured his heart into SpaceX's mission, reduced to working a cash register. I still follow SpaceX news, Ryan added quietly. When I saw the Starship test flight succeed, I cried. I should have been there. Not here. A silence hung between them. The sounds of passing traffic and distant laughter faded into the background. Elon finally spoke, his voice softer but resolute. Ryan, you don't belong here. You belong among the stars. Ryan blinked back tears. I know, but no one else seems to think so. A slow smile tugged at the corner of Elon's mouth. I do. Ryan's head snapped up. What? Elon straightened. If you're willing to bet on yourself one more time, I'll give you another shot. We're working on a new propulsion system classified project. It's ambitious, but I need people who don't give up. You in. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. You mean it? Elon extended his hand. Come back to SpaceX, Ryan. Let's build the future together. Tears welled up in Ryan's eyes as he grasped Elon's hand. In one night, his entire life had turned around. Thank you, he whispered. I won't let you down. Elon grinned. Good. We launch in 6 months. Let's make history. As they returned to the KFC entrance, Ryan handed his apron to his stunned manager. I quit, he said, his voice filled with newfound confidence. And just like that, Ryan Carter's second chance had begun. The next morning, Ryan stood outside the gleaming SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. The sun glinted off the towering Falcon 9 rocket model as employees hustled in and out of the entrance. Just yesterday, he was taking orders at KFC. Now, he was about to walk back into the company that had once been his dream. He clutched the badge Elon had handed him the night before. Felt surreal. Was this really happening? Ryan Carter, a voice called. He turned to see a tall woman in a sleek black blazer. I'm Maya Patel, Director of Advanced Propulsion. Elon told me you'd be joining us. Ryan shook her hand, trying to steady his nerves. Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am. I won't let you down. Maya smiled. You already impressed the hardest guy here. Let's see what you can do. She motioned for him to follow. We're working on something big. Ever heard of the Helios drive? Ryan's eyes widened. The experimental ion thrust system? Exactly, Maya said as they entered a secured lab. The air buzzed with the smell of machinery and burning solder. Engineers huddled over monitors and prototypes. It's our moonshot project, literally. If we get this right, we'll send a manned mission to Mars in record time. And Elon thinks you belong on the team. Ryan swallowed hard. Just a day ago, he was handing out chicken buckets. Now, he was on the cutting edge of space travel. Where do I start? He asked eagerly. Maya grinned. Over there, Module B. We need to redesign the thermal casing to handle a 20% thrust increase without overheating. Think you're up for it? Ryan didn't hesitate. I'm on it. Days blurred into nights. Ryan threw himself into the work, often staying past midnight. The Helios drive was unlike anything he had touched before, a propulsion system that, if successful, would redefine interplanetary travel. His first challenge? The thermal casing. Under extreme thrust, the ion particles generated temperatures higher than any existing material could withstand. His old knowledge kicked in as he brainstormed solutions. After 2 weeks of calculations and testing, Ryan proposed using a graphene composite coating, a material known for its lightweight and heat-resistant properties. When Maya saw his proposal, she raised an eyebrow. "You really worked at KFC?" she teased, flipping through his plans. Ryan laughed. "Yeah, but my heart's always been here." His design worked. The Helios drive's casing withstood the new thrust capacity, and Elon himself reviewed the data. Late one night, while Ryan was refining a cooling algorithm, Elon strolled into the lab. "You're making waves, Carter," Elon said, leaning against a nearby console. Ryan stood quickly. "Just doing my best, sir." Elon studied him for a long moment. "You know why I brought you back?" Ryan shook his head. "Because you didn't quit," Elon said simply. "Space isn't for the faint of heart. We need people who fight when things get tough." Hearing those words from a man who had faced his share of failures lit a fire in Ryan. He worked harder, pushing himself and his team. Slowly, his self-doubt faded. And then, after 4 months of grueling work, it happened. A breakthrough. On a crisp morning, the Helios drive was finally ready for its first full-scale test. Engineers gathered around the control room, nerves stretched tight. Ryan sat beside Maya, fingers crossed under the desk. "Helios ignition in T-10 seconds," the automated voice announced. The countdown felt endless. Then, ignition. The test chamber shook as the drive roared to life. Blue plasma beams crackled, propelling the engine forward at unprecedented speeds. Ryan's heart pounded as the data scrolled across the screens. After 5 intense minutes, the drive shut down. Silence hung heavy. Then the room erupted into cheers. "It worked," Maya whispered in disbelief. Elon appeared behind them, a rare smile on his face. "Outstanding work, Carter. This is the future." For the first time in months, Ryan let the feeling sink in. He was no longer the guy behind a fast food counter. He was back, an engineer shaping humanity's future. As the team celebrated, Elon clapped a hand on Ryan's shoulder. "Get ready. Next stop, Mars." 3 months after the successful Helios drive test, Ryan Carter found himself standing on the massive launch pad at SpaceX's Boca Chica facility. The hum of machinery and the distant clang of metal filled the air as engineers swarmed around the towering Starship Helios, a craft powered by the very engine he had helped perfect. Ryan still woke up some mornings wondering if this was all a dream. Just a few months ago, he was scraping grease off fryers. Now, he was a core part of the team working on humanity's next giant leap. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Elon Musk arrived in his signature black t-shirt and jeans, hands in his pockets. "Carter," he called out, walking toward him. "Got a minute?" Ryan wiped his hands on his coveralls and turned. "Of course, sir." Elon motioned for him to follow, leading him toward the observation deck overlooking the launch site. "You've done a hell of a job," he began, his voice calm but serious. "The Helios drive wouldn't be ready without your design fixes." Ryan felt a swell of pride, but he kept his composure. "Thank you. But it wasn't just me. The team worked day and night to make it happen." Elon chuckled softly. "True, but I know who drove that team forward." He paused, then added, "There's something I want to ask you." Ryan's heart pounded. "What could it be?" "You know we're launching the first crewed Mars mission in a year," Elon said, staring at the horizon. "We need engineers who know these systems inside and out. I want you to be part of the mission team. On board." Ryan's breath hitched. "You mean, go to Mars?" "Exactly." Elon turned to face him, his eyes sharp. "It's not just about technology, it's about people with grit. And you've got it." Ryan's mind raced. A year ago, he was stuck in a dead-end job. Now, he was being asked to join the first humans on Mars. "Why me?" Ryan finally asked. Elon smiled faintly. "Because you didn't break. You found a way forward when most people would have given up. That's the kind of person I want on this mission." For a long moment, Ryan stood in silence, the weight of the opportunity sinking in. He thought of the nights spent struggling to pay rent, the countless rejection emails, the feeling that his dreams had slipped through his fingers. And now, here was his second chance. "I'm in," Ryan said, his voice steady. A rare grin broke across Elon's face. "Good. Welcome to the Mars mission, Carter." The next few months were a blur of preparation. Ryan underwent intensive astronaut training, learning everything from zero-gravity mechanics to emergency protocols. The physical demands were relentless, but Ryan pushed himself harder each day. His engineering knowledge became invaluable as the team fine-tuned the Helios systems. Late nights at the SpaceX simulator became the norm as he and his crewmates prepared for the unknown challenges of interplanetary travel. One evening, as Ryan fine-tuned the fuel optimization protocols, Elon dropped by the lab. "You're still here?" Elon asked, raising an eyebrow. Ryan laughed softly. "Can't afford mistakes on Mars." Elon leaned against a console. "You know, stories like yours, that's what SpaceX is really about. Not just rockets. People who never stop pushing forward." Ryan nodded, reflecting on how far he'd come. "I get that now," he said quietly. "The world watches." As the Mars launch day approached, the world turned its eyes toward SpaceX. News outlets ran stories on the mission, highlighting the cutting-edge technology, but Ryan's story captured the public's imagination. From frying chicken to flying to Mars, the engineer who wouldn't quit. Interviews flooded in, and while Ryan wasn't one for the spotlight, he agreed to speak on one condition. He wanted to inspire others who felt stuck. In a viral interview, a reporter asked, "What would you tell someone working a job they hate while chasing a dream?" Ryan's answer echoed across social media. "Don't give up. Your dream is still out there, you just have to keep fighting for it. Even when no one believes in you." The hashtag never quit trended globally, and thousands shared their own stories of resilience. Ryan had become more than an engineer, he was a symbol of hope. The day of the Mars mission launch had finally arrived. The SpaceX Starship Helios stood like a silver giant on the launch pad, shimmering under the warm glow of the morning sun. News crews from around the world broadcasted the event live, with millions of viewers glued to their screens. In the crew capsule, Ryan Carter sat strapped into his seat, the hum of the ship's systems vibrating through his body. His heart pounded not from fear, but from awe. This was it. The dream he once thought was lost forever was now his reality. Through the visor of his helmet, Ryan caught a glimpse of Elon Musk standing in the control room, watching with that familiar intense focus. Over the intercom, Elon's voice came through. "Helios crew, you're making history today. Remember, this is just the beginning. Safe travels." Ryan smiled to himself. The beginning. To -10, 9, 8. The countdown echoed through the capsule. He closed his eyes for a moment, thinking back to where it all began. The cold nights wondering if he'd wasted his education. The humiliation of wearing a KFC apron when he felt he should be building rockets. The unexpected meeting with Elon Musk that changed everything. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. The engines roared to life beneath him, shaking the earth as Starship Helios surged toward the heavens. Ryan felt the G-force press him back, but nothing could suppress the joy rising in his chest. He was leaving Earth not as a failed engineer but as a pioneer. 256 days to Mars. Life aboard the Starship Helios was both exhilarating and grueling. The journey to Mars would take 256 days, pushing the limits of both technology and human endurance. Ryan quickly became the backbone of the crew's engineering team. Whenever an issue arose, whether it was a glitch in the life support system or a malfunctioning heat shield, he was the one the team turned to. One evening, as Earth appeared as a distant blue outside the observation window, Ryan received a message from Elon. "Your story is inspiring millions. Don't forget where you came from, Elon." Ryan smiled and typed a quick reply. "I won't. Thank you for believing in me." Despite the challenges, Ryan's resolve never wavered. He knew that his presence on this mission wasn't just about fixing engines. It was about proving that anyone with passion and persistence could reach the stars. On Sol 1, the first day on Mars, Ryan stood on the open ramp of the Starship Helios. His boots crunched softly against the rust-red soil as he took his first steps onto the alien world. The view was surreal, crimson mountains in the distance, dust swirling in low gravity, and a horizon that stretched farther than anything on Earth. A voice crackled in his helmet. "Ryan, how does it feel to be standing on Mars?" Ryan took a deep breath, feeling the enormity of the moment. "It feels unreal," he said. "But if I can make it here, anyone can go further than they ever dreamed." His words traveled back to Earth, where millions of people listened, inspired by the man who had once handed out chicken buckets but now stood on another planet. The legacy of Ryan Carter. Ryan's journey became a symbol of what was possible when talent meets opportunity. Schools across America used his story to teach perseverance. Students from low-income communities wrote to him, sharing how his story gave them hope. Years later, after completing 2 Mars missions, Ryan returned to Earth and founded the Carter Institute for Innovation, dedicated to supporting people from non-traditional backgrounds in science and technology. And at every speech he gave, he repeated the same message. No dream is too big. No path is too impossible. If you keep moving forward, no matter where you start, you can change your future. His journey from KFC to Mars became one of the most legendary tales in modern history. A reminder that no matter how far you fall, the stars are still within reach. And it all began with a man who refused to give up.